Kejriwal government is set to complete 1 year in power in Delhi. A year of hope, turbulence and controversy. Perhaps no other government in the country has had as much focus, or state government as much focus, as the Delhi government. Which is why, as the government completes its 1 year this weekend, we are asking the big question: how has the Arvind Kejriwal government performed? Is Delhi better or worse off? Is Kejriwal still seen as a national leader to reckon with? And is the Aam Aadmi party dream still alive? Answers to all the big questions on a special debate on India Today TV. It's based on a snap poll conducted by GFK Mode of 1,000 persons cutting across caste, income and community in the national capital. Joining me then on the big Delhi verdict today, I'm joined by Atishay Marlena of the Aam Aadmi party, by Yogendra Yadav, formerly Aam Aadmi party but now founder of the Swaraj Abhiyan, by Ragini Nayak, spokesperson of the Congress party, and Ashish Sood, Vice President Delhi of the BJP. I appreciate all of you joining us, and I'm going to get straight to the big questions that we put in this special poll to you. We asked, how do you rate the performance of the Aam Aadmi party government? 43% have said it's good, 31% said it's average, 26% said poor. 43 good, 31 average, 26% poor. We then asked, how do you rate the performance of Mr. Kejriwal as Chief Minister? 48% again said good, average was 28, poor was 24%. We asked, if polls are held today, who will be best suited as Delhi Chief Minister? And this is what the survey said. 45% say Arvind Kejriwal, 7% said Manish Sisodia, Sheila Dikshit, the former Chief Minister, 18%, Harshvardhan of the BJP, 24%, Ajay Makan of the Congress, 4%. We also asked, are you happy with your area's AAP MLA? Remember, AAP won 67 of the 70 seats 1 year ago. 39% said they are happy, 31 are not happy, 26 are unhappy. Those are our first findings, and I want to come straight to our panel. Atishay Marlena, it seems if I look at these findings, the news is mixed for you. Yes, Mr. Kejriwal is still the preferred choice for Chief Minister, but the fact is that he isn't getting first-class marks anymore, neither on performance of the government or as CM or of AAP MLAs. In fact, AAP MLAs should be your real worry because they really are not being rated very highly at the moment. How do you respond? Kejriwal, number one Neta for CM, but performance not as high as you might have hoped for.
See, I think there are multiple issues that have to be addressed in this. First of all, I must say that I'm really happy, as you said, there are so many people talking about 1 year in office. And I'm glad that there are a lot of questions being raised about how governments are performing. I think we need more of that in our democracy, and this is something that should apply to all state governments and the national government. I think when we look at 1 year in office, what we really need to look at is the government going in the directions that it had promised? The government had made big promises on water, the government had made promises on electricity, on education, on health, on pro-people governance, on transparency. And I think on each of these counts, the government has moved forward. Be it ensuring that there is free water supply, be it ensuring that electricity prices are halved, be it a substantial improvement that people are beginning to see in government schools and hospitals. These are not necessarily mean achievements. And I think these are achievements that actually reach probably the most voiceless segments that exist in our society and exist in our democracy.
So you see the glass as half full. You don't see the glass as half empty at the end of 1 year.
Secondly, I would say that if you were to ask me that have we done as much as we could we have done more? Yes, we could have done more. And the reason that we have not been able to do so is because we have not had a very cooperative central government. There are so many, on multiple issues, we have legislations, we have 14 legislations from our previous assembly session that are sitting in the Ministry of Home Affairs. They are not saying yes, they are not saying no. And that also, be it a citizens' charter, be it a question of regulating the admission process of private schools, be it fees of private schools, there are so many issues that are not getting clearance from the center.
Okay, so yes, I'll come to that. I think broadly what you're saying is that you believe that your pluses outweigh the minuses at the moment, and if there are minuses, you're blaming the center more than yourself. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's,
and secondly,
you're passing the buck.
And secondly, I would say that there are some things which are under process. If you were to give us our list of 70 promises, yes, there are some things that are under study. There are some things that are still in the process of initiation. But I do believe we have moved in the right direction.
I will come to those specifics in a moment, whether you've succeeded or not. But Ragini Nair, you were laughing when she said that the centre has not allowed the Aam Aadmi Party to work. And I'll come to both of you on that because I have a question on that coming up later. But your first reactions to what you just heard.
I'll begin by passing the buck. As you mentioned, I think shouldering off the responsibilities that the Delhi government had been endowed with this almost surreal victory that that they had in the last elections. All the responsibilities were not carried fruitfully and effectively. Point number one. Point number two, although I usually take, opinion surveys, opinion polls and surveys with a pinch of salt, but even if you flip these figures a little bit, what do you see? 40% of the people rate performance of Aam Aadmi Party's government as average or poor. 52% say they think that the performance of Kejriwal as CM is also average and poor. And 57% of the people are not happy with the local MLAs. So yes, I would say that maybe there is still somewhat of some support that Mr. Kejriwal enjoyed during the elections has retained, but we can see that there is a sharp decline and a downslide.
That's an important point, and Yogendra, you're perhaps the best with numbers. At the end of the day, 1 year is over. These numbers suggest clearly the honeymoon is over. The euphoria of February 14, 2015 is over. 67 out of 70 seats, these numbers will certainly not give. We've not done seat projections because we felt the sample was too small to do seat projections. But even based on these numbers, do you believe that the Aam Aadmi Party has reason to worry? And I'm not asking you to assess this on the basis of where you are standing today as anti-AAP, but on the basis of your knowledge of numbers at the end of 1 year of a government.
Rajdeep, I didn't know this was going to be focused on numbers, and honestly that previous life of mine that I led doesn't involve me that much.
Yes.
If I were to recall from what I used to do in my previous birth, I would say a government which gets this rating at the end of first year, which came with 54% and gets this rating at the end of 1 year, should be worried. But be as it may, I mean, that's not something that would hold me very much. Normally, governments tend to get very, very positive rating for a year and a half or up to 2 years, depending on how the government is faring. Yes. The real question, I think, is the bigger one that you started with. I think when we assess a government like this, it's only the first year of a government which has come for the very first time, has a hostile central government. So I would say the benefit of doubt should be given to a new government. When you want to assess a government like this, what should be your yardstick? If the yardstick is the previous Congress government, or what BJP would have brought in its place, I would say this government has done a shade better in the last 1 year.
Shade better?
Better than Congress government. I mean, I think, where one happens to be today cannot be the measure of how one looks at the universe. But if you
are you saying that Arvind Kejriwal's government in 1 year has done better than Sheila Dikshit's government performed in 15 years?
I was saying with the last 1 year.
The last 1 year of Sheila Dikshit versus the first 1 year of Arvind Kejriwal.
That's what people experience.
Okay.
That's what people experience. They experience a difference. And I really think whether it's the fact that electricity rates have gone down, in some parts of Delhi, water situation has improved. In education, the budget has gone up. In nursery admissions, there is greater transparency than before. And odd and even was a positive experience. I'm simply looking at it from the point of view of an ordinary person. I think they have experienced a government that's shade better than what the Congress may have offered or the BJP may have offered.
Less corruption? Less corruption? Because you write an article in the Mint where you seem to suggest that maybe there is less corruption today than there was a year ago.
Let me just complete what I was saying and then I'll come back to the corruption. So if your yardstick is Congress, BJP, I think they have done a shade better. If your yardstick is the manifesto of this party and what they promised, I think that's iffy. Atishi would take one view, someone else can take another view, because there's so much that was promised. Probably they promised too much. But if your yardstick is the larger promise, and the promise was not only Bijli Pani, I think the real promise was honest governance. The real promise was honest politics. The real promise was changing the rules of politics. And on that, yeah, Rajdeep, and I speak with as much, I hope, objectivity as I said in saying they were positive on several things, I think it's nothing short of betrayal. I mean, any other word would be a mistaken word for that. It is a betrayal of the promise of honest politics.
Betrayal of the promise of honest politics. And what are you basing this on? The fact that Jitendra Tomar, the law minister, had to resign? The fact that we've had another minister whom the Aam Aadmi party themselves in a press conference forced him to resign after alleged corruption? Are you saying that that in itself is enough to say that the Aam Aadmi party has betrayed their promise that they would provide corrupt-free government?
Not just that. These are minor symptoms. The way the party responded to situations of this kind, the way the party leadership has just lied through its teeth, that they can come on television and public fora and just utter plain lies. For example, on Jan Lokpal bill, to say that this is the same bill of 2014. I mean, like it or dislike it, you can say it was better than 2014. But to say that it was the 2014 bill is a plain lie. There are lies being said, the kind of, or to, earlier you say your MLAs will take half the salary than this. You raise it fourfold. I mean, for heaven's sake, hold your Mohalla Sabha not on odds and even, hold your Mohalla Sabha on this. So the real promise, I mean, I say, let's grant this government benefit of doubt on lots of governance related issues. Let's be as positive as we can be in assessing, but the central government is not forcing you to tell lies to the people.
I want to settle this corruption issue, because corruption was central to the Aam Aadmi party.
Let me say something on corruption.
No, because I've got a number. I know you're worried about putting numbers out, but let me put this number out, because I think it will give a sense. Has awareness about corruption improved in people? 59% in our survey said yes, awareness about corruption has increased. No say 36%, 5% say can't say. Has corruption reduced in the last 1 year? 51% say it has reduced, 36% said it is the same as before, and only 10% said it has increased. So clearly from a public perception point of view, there is a feeling that the Aam Aadmi party has done more than the Congress party or possibly the BJP in Delhi when it comes to corruption. Are you willing to give them that concession?
Rajdeep, I had not looked at your figures, but
Yes.
I wrote an article yesterday which I sent you a copy.
Yes.
It's not published. And I've actually said this much. I've said that actually at the ground level in Delhi, the corruption appears to have gone down. For that, let us not credit any party, any government, any helpline, anything of that kind. What happens is when a party comes on the plank of anti-corruption, which is preceded by such a big movement. Remember, on the 49 days of Aam Aadmi party government, there's a complete terror among those who wanted to, to do something corrupt. Yes. So that has emboldened the citizen. That has, so awareness has gone up. And among those who want to play dirty and hanky-panky, there is still a sense of fear. So that echo persists for some time. We would now get to see whether the government also contributes to this positivity.
Okay, let's settle this. Has corruption, Atisha, you were smiling when Yogendraji was pointing out, he claimed that maybe petty corruption has gone down. Maybe. That's the perception. But he, I think, in a sense, to use his word, says, politics of corruption is the betrayal of people. Politically, when you look at corruption, you believe the government has betrayed. He believes the government has betrayed the people.
We use the word corruption for lots of things. We use the corruption for people taking bribe.
Yes.
We use the word corruption for people lying. We use corruption for very unethical politics. Corruption in terms of petty bribe being taken on the ground has gone down. Definitely it has gone down.
So what has gone up then?
1 year. What has gone up is just plain immoral ethical politics, which what is difference between Aam Aadmi party and the Congress and BJP is they are corrupt. They have been very corrupt, except that for the last 10-15 years they have stopped pretending that they are not. In Aam Aadmi party, the pretensions have gone up.
Quick responses to what you have heard. First you, Atisha, and then I'll get the Congress and BJP to respond.
I think in many ways there's a lot of paradoxes in what Yogendraji is saying. I think there's clearly some things that are mutually contradictory, because on the one hand you're saying that corruption has gone down, on the other you're saying that it's not. I think that let's go by what we have in front of us. I think the people of Delhi are clearly experiencing the fact that corruption has gone down. Why has it gone down? It has gone down because of the government in power. whether our former colleague is willing to admit it or not. I think that the fact that there is a government which is pursuing cases, which is going after anyone who's doing corruption, which is ready to suspend senior officers, which is ready to sack one of its own ministers, does clearly give a message right from the top to the bottom that corruption will not be tolerated. And I think it is precisely this messaging that actually reduces corruption on the ground. So I sort of find it difficult to reconcile that you accept that there is no that corruption has reduced on the ground, but you're saying that the message is not.
No, I'm just wondering whether the issue of corruption.
There were big banners and posters in Delhi saying these many officers were sacked. The figure turned out to be a lie later on. What do you call this?
No, I mean, I think we can contest that.
This was an RTI. The figure turned out to be a lie. There were posters all over the city.
In response to that RTI, the government wasn't able to actually divulge the details of those officials who had been indicted or arrested, or even their department. So that is a fact.
I'm just wondering whether the corruption issue is being drawn in contrast to what had preceded 2015. There was a sense that the Congress government, for all your achievements, it was seen that corruption was your weak point. The BJP also, in the context of Delhi, was not able to take the moral high ground on corruption.
Rajdeep, we lost the electoral battle because of the larger perception that was created against the Congress party.
And but we were Congress was corrupt.
Please, let me just finish. I didn't interrupt you. But the point still remains that we brought in the RTI, isn't it? We actually got the Lokpal bill passed, and in that process we had larger consultations, extensive, exhaustive consultation with the people.
Bill,
but the way our toothless.
This is not.
That's what I'm saying.
The Lokpal bill which the Aam Aadmi party has brought is an extremely diluted version
That is exactly
of the
what I'm
original
saying.
bill.
The way the Aam Aadmi party and the Kejriwal government streamrolled this toothless Jan Lokpal through brute majority is also kind of, just antithetical to the transparency and accountability that they had promised. There was no consultation with the people. There was no Mohalla Samiti that was consulted. And on top of that, I mean, you named a few ministers. I want to ask Atishi, why these ministers haven't been thrown out of the party? If you actually want to portray that you are so much against corruption, you were completely supporting and helping the principal secretary who was under the scanner since 2007, 2008. There's so many issues that have to
let the BJP respond to this issue. Do you believe that a more ethical, less corrupt governance has been provided by the Aam Aadmi party compared to the previous governments?
No, not at all. With the size of sample you have mentioned in the beginning of the program, and the figures here, it is a marginal difference of 3 to 4%. They themselves every day have been screaming that we don't have ACB, we cannot fight corruption. If they are committed to fight corruption, why is Jitendra Tomar still in their party? Why is Imran, the earlier minister whom they claim they have thrown out of the cabinet, is still in the party? This is a party which came to the power on the plank of anti-corruption. And where are the people which they say they were corrupt and the minister has been, the charge has been taken from the minister.
They did not
He's still in the party.
Moreover, for 9 months coming in
let me complete this comment.
Let him complete.
You came to me a bit late. And moreover, the figures they gave, they claimed, these many people were
officers have been removed.
5 of them were the private staff. And they did not reply. The RTIs filed on that issue. And this marginal difference at this sample size clearly depicts that they have failed on this.
Okay, so you believe on corruption there is much that they have to answer. I think corruption is a divided vote. There is clearly the fear factor that has existed. To that extent, the Aam Aadmi party could claim that because of the fear factor, perception is petty corruption has reduced. But the Jitendra Tomar case, for example, is clearly a stain on this party. But Atishay Marlena, what should worry you even more is the fact that, are you happy with your area's Aam Aadmi party MLA? 39% said happy, but 31% said not so happy and 26% said unhappy. That's 57%. Anti-incumbency against your MLAs. Now, all the focus has been on Arvind Kejriwal. Kejriwal's own performance is rated much better than that of your MLAs. Kejriwal still the preferred choice as Delhi Chief Minister. But your MLAs at the end of the day. Somewhere at the end of the day, a party is only as good as its MLAs. We didn't know what the Aam Aadmi party was till 2015. Now we've seen the MLAs. And now question marks are being raised over those MLAs.
In fact, I would say
the honeymoon is over.
I would raise an interesting point actually. First of all, it would be interesting to see the sample that you have and what class of society have you actually chosen the sample.
We tried to make it as representative.
Moving on from that,
every class of the society.
1 minute. We tried to make it as representative, but my fear is that the middle class, which was the driving force of the Aam Aadmi Party's rise, is the one which today is most disillusioned. So even if our sample has overrepresented the middle class, that is the one thing you should worry about.
Actually, Darjeep, there's a couple of things. In fact, it would have been interesting in your own survey if you had actually asked the question that how many people in your constituency have actually met your area MLA in comparison to how many may have met MLAs in the past. Because I believe that even an opinion on an MLA exists precisely because MLAs are so accessible. Never before have MLAs been so accessible, living amongst the people, being with them from morning to evening,
Maybe they are
handling their
accessible, but they are not
grievances,
delivering.
etc.
So where are the Mohalla Sabhas?
maybe
Then you should be holding the
Yes.
Mohalla Sabhas on a regular
Exactly.
If
basis.
they are accessible,
Absolutely.
they would not have been
Absolutely.
so unpopular.
The Mohalla Sabhas have been piloted in 11 constituencies. They are on their way to starting in all 70 assembly constituencies from April. The very fact that people have an opinion on MLAs, most people in the middle class in Delhi would otherwise never even have met their MLA. You walk into any government school in Delhi and they would tell you that the number of times the area MLA has visited to ensure that infrastructural facilities are improved in the school, in the hospital, in your resettlement colony is far more than ever before. So people are seeing their MLAs.
No, so I'm just wondering then why is the, no, are these figures?
I want to make a
Are
point.
these figures because you set your you set your standards of public expectations so high? You promise so much. For example, you said 8 lakh new jobs in 5 years, 500 new schools, 20 new colleges, 2 lakh toilets, 1,000 new public health centers. These were all promises made. Once you make such grand promises, then people expect instant delivery. We are in the T20 era. Narendra Modi is finding that and Arvind Kejriwal is finding that. People want instant
Absolutely, but
it's not even instant. You see, when you're promising 500 schools in your entire term, that would mean 100 new schools in a year. I would like to know how many new schools have been opened in Delhi.
And how many
it's not just
centers?
about, instant sort of results.
No, exactly.
But
No,
over the years,
which is
Which
you
is precisely
haven't-
that
governance
we are
deficit.
now in a position to have new infrastructure for an equivalent of 125 new schools from April. So the fact is that we are, having said that we are in after 1 year of the government coming in, some promises would get fulfilled, some are in the process of being fulfilled. But yes, on your specific point of our expectations too high, it is possible that expectations are too high. We are also looking at the fact that we have come into a completely broken system which has not delivered health to people, not delivered education, not delivered water, not delivered sewage.
Not even
So
a
when
single
the
bed,
really
not even a
surprising
single bed
when-
added
when-
to
that
it.
you
When
and
the
the
Aam
Aam
Aadmi
Aadmi
Party-
Party feel that the Congress party has been in power for 15 years without delivering anything.
No, 1 minute.
All the
Ragini ji,
infrastructure,
Ragini ji,
all
1
the
minute.
facilities, everything has been broken
Ragini,
down.
I-
And
no,
Aam
1 minute, 1
Aadmi
minute.
Party
I want
is
to
on the renewal mode since last 1 year.
Absolutely.
No,
I'm sorry.
Look,
I don't buy that at all. And I
This
have
is unfair.
figures and data to contest this point.
Okay, I just want to try and understand, is the Aam Aadmi Party at one level suffering from irrational expectations, much like even the Narendra Modi government suffered perhaps at the end of year 1, that people have high expectations when you bring in someone with a massive mandate, they are, they're beneficiaries of change, but then if the change doesn't come instantly, there can be a measure of disillusionment. Is that what these numbers in a sense also indicate?
Whenever a new party comes in, especially when it comes with such a huge mandate as this one, which is a historic mandate, obviously expectations are very high. And it is unfair to expect everything to be delivered in 1 year. Therefore, I would not hold this party to account on every single number as long as the direction is correct and things seem to be moving. And it is true that the system was rotten. I think the question we should be asking is whether Aam Aadmi Party government has contributed to the rotting of the system or has contributed to repairing of it. That's a real question in the one.
And you believe that they have done very little to repair the system?
In one crucial sense, there are many things that have happened well,
Yes.
and I think some of the points about education may be right, actually. I don't dispute it, because my business is not to find fault. That's very silly. That's old style politics, which I don't believe
Yes.
in. My dharma is not to find faults with this. The truth of the matter is that many things have improved in the last 1 year. They may have done some things about governance, but the real question is on specifics of school education and
Yes.
such like. The real question is, does this party understand the grammar of governance? Or is it destroying the very grammar of governance? You do not govern, Rajdeep, by lashing at your senior bureaucrats in a press conference. You do not govern by demoralizing the entire bureaucracy and civil services. You do not govern by picking false confrontations. Some bit of tension in federalism is all right, but you do not govern by picking confrontations at the drop of a hat. This is not the way to govern. And seriously, this is something I really have been disappointed.
That's an interesting point, because I want to then come to the so-called failings and achievements of the Aam Aadmi Party, and some of them will be now reflected in what Yogendra Yadav says. We asked, what is your opinion on the odd-even plan? Remember, it's coming back from April 15. Great idea, 56%. Ineffective idea, 10%. Did not bring down pollution, 11%. Only helped ease traffic, 51%. But broadly, this is the one area where the Aam Aadmi Party has got a thumbs up clearly. Clearly, the odd-even plan has struck a chord somewhere with Delhiite. Should the odd-even plan be brought back? 81% have said yes. No was 16%, can't say 3%. Clearly on this, the Aam Aadmi Party appears to have scored a winner. We asked, what are the big achievements of Aam? Free water power, 65%. This seems to have emerged as a strength of the Aam Aadmi Party. 65% saying big achievement of Aam is that free water power has been brought. Free medicines in government hospitals was the next, which was 16%. The big failures. No improvement in women's safety. Interesting, 59% saying no improvement. No new infrastructure projects, 37%. These are the way the government is being looked at. Odd-even plan has come out. Now the Congress and the BJP have said this is nautanki, it's a drama, but people have seem to have embraced it. The Congress and BJP said they will never give free power and water. People seem to have embraced it. The failures are infrastructure in a broader sense. Many will say Sheila Dikshit's government did more for infrastructure than they did, and women's safety.
Sometimes you have to scratch on the surface to find out what actually lies beneath.
Yes.
You see, let's begin with free water and power. The Aam Aadmi Party kept criticizing the Congress government for providing subsidies. Their argument was that they are going to conduct audit of DISCOMs, and the corruption would be exposed, and through that channel they are actually going to reduce the tariff of water and electricity. Now even today, same sort of subsidy, even extensive subsidies are given to the people. 2,000 crore rupees from the public exchequer is being spent on subsidies. So the way you have done it, what did you say when
the person sitting in the resettlement colony or the Jhuggi Jhopdi is seeing a benefit?
Yeah, you can see the benefit. The same benefit to, I mean, a little less of the same benefit was being offered by the Congress party also. But again, optics become more important than outcome. You see, because publicity starts.
That's a good point. Optics are more important than outcomes is a good line to have used in this particular context. But again, in the context of odd-even plan, many will say optics are perhaps more important than outcomes. Pollution has not come down, but traffic congestion has eased, and there's a sense that the government is trying to act on this area.
This is the sense, this is the responsible attitude Delhiites are showing. Just try to understand, this is a half-baked scheme. If they are so convinced about their scheme and you consider it to be their achievement, why it is not being the way of life in Delhi? Why every 15 days, after 4 months, when the schools are...
Let him go ahead.
This is a half-baked idea.
It's a half-baked idea.
Yes, it is a half-baked idea.
Again, it is optics above outcomes.
No delivery. What is the governance in this context? A 2,000 fine being imposed on the people via Delhi police. And is this the governance?
Okay, a quick line.
If this is governance, this should be the way of life. They should come out with it.
We must also realize that Delhi was called the greenest city. It was awarded greenest city in 2011 by the United Nations, and today it is the most polluted city. The green cover has gone down. Not even a single new bus has been purchased by the government since last 1 year. Not even a single kilometer of extension of metro has happened. The oil refineries have not been pressurized by the government to use cleaner fuels. They had promised in their manifesto that they are going to vacuum clean the roads. It hasn't started now, but they're saying it's due in April. So there has been lack of foresight on this particular issue. Even on formula might be a success because the people of Delhi helped in that.
Ragini,
They
just a minute.
supported the entire scheme, and that too, I mean, the way
Ragini,
it has
just a
been
minute.
staggered, because so that people don't start buying new cars. I mean, you have to look at it in entirety.
Let me
And
just
for Atishi,
hold on.
yeah.
Just hold
In
on.
this
The
country-
word which has been used, and I think it reflects in both what Ragini and Mr. Sood are saying, and to some extent Yogendra used the word, the grammar of governance. You know, in all this, the question is governance. Yes, there are these schemes announced. Yes, some of them have been, in a sense, embraced by the people of Delhi, like the odd-even scheme. But institutionally, at the end of the day, to bring about real change, you need governance. You can't be seen to be taking on the bureaucracy all the time, taking on the center all the time, or doing what is being suggested by some as high drama, and then expect that to be replaced governance. The point is governance. There, Sheila Dikshit, in a sense, will be seen even today to score above a Kejriwal, that at the end of the day, she was seen to be focusing on governance. Mr. Kejriwal is being seen, according to the opposition, to focus on optics, not outcomes, or not on the grammar of governance.
I think, Rajdeep, we really need to define what we mean by governance. In fact, governance is not just about making policies that don't affect ordinary people. Governance is about changing governance for us is about involving people. Why is it that we talk about Swaraj? Why is it that we talk about Mohalla Sabhas? Why is it that we have done an exercise of participatory budgeting in 11 constituencies? Because we believe that people have to be involved in governance. In fact,
Why
that is the
not
reason,
in
that is the reason why
Not
odd
in
and even
Bhopal,
has
people
succeeded
are-
actually.
One minute.
That is the reason odd and even has succeeded,
This is
because
politics
this
of
government
convenience
has
and
gone and got
opportunism.
into a dialogue with the people.
So
and
you-
that is
you
the reason-
disagree
You
with-
get
you
into the
disagree with
Mohalla
the-
Sabha mode.
No, no,
Number
one
two.
minute. One minute. You disagree.
I have a
disagree.
small
No, no, one
question.
minute. Let's not
Number
have
two,
a.
let me
Let's
complete
everybody
on
be
the,
heard.
on the, on,
You
on
don't
the
do
odd
a-
even plan. Number, I agree completely. I think it succeeded because the people of Delhi have come together. Do I believe that odd even is a complete solution to the problem of pollution? Of course not.
Women's safety, you will
Of
blame the
course,
Delhi police.
odd and even- let me just
Infrastructure, you
complete
will
what
blame
I'm-
someone else.
let me complete
So when
what
things
I'm
don't
saying.
suit you, you blame someone else. When things go your way,
Where
you
is-
say the people of Delhi are with
Just
you.
one second.
That's
Let
what
me
I
complete
said.
what I'm
You see,
saying. On the odd even plan, do we say that it's a complete solution?
Yes.
No, it's not. It's one step
Then
which was
what
an
is the-
emergency measure, along with the whole fact that you have to improve public transport.
Lack of
We have
political
been in-
vision,
We have
lack
been in
of
the process
political
of acquiring
foresight,
buses.
finish.
We
Let
have
her
been in the
finish.
process
Let
of-
her finish. Let her finish. It's unfair. Yes, she's three
No.
against. It's 3 against 1. Go
So
ahead.
as I said, even on the question of pollution, there are multiple steps that are being taken. Some of the most polluting power plants are being shut down. The number of CNG fuel stations are being increased. 2,000 new buses are going to be acquired by the time September
Are
comes.
going to be. What has the
Just-
government
I-
done in the
have a
last
small
year
question
is
in
the
this
No, no,
question.
one minute. One
I
minute.
mean, you
Just let me-
cannot
let me-
be in the future mode.
No, no, Sood Saab, I'll let you out. You know, I would say it's 2.5 against 1 because Yogendra ji is trying to play a more
Yes.
neutral role.
Thought you
But
were
you
including
use.
yourself among
No,
the
no,
three.
I'm out. I'm completely out. My point is, you use the word grammar of governance. And Atisha has made an interesting response saying, what is governance? Isn't governance, she says, involving people in decision making? She claims that many of the decisions, correct me if I'm wrong, that you have taken have been based on what people have told you, feedback from below. The odd even plan to some extent could be a good example of that. Do you concede, what is for you, when you say that the Aam Aadmi Party has not followed the grammar of governance, what does that mean? What do you exactly mean by that?
Atishi said something even more interesting, somewhat inadvertently maybe. She
Yes.
used the word Swaraj. It's a word Aam Aadmi Party has forgotten these days.
Yes.
And I often feel that, Arvind Kejriwal should take out time and read one book, which is a book he had written. It was called Swaraj. That's one book he needs to read. Because one of the critical and absolutely sacred promises and one of the ideological foundations of this party was Swaraj, namely radical decentralization of power, something in which ministers, MLAs, they don't take decision, Mohalla Sabhas do. And
That
Aam
can't
Aadmi
happen
Party-
in 1 year, Yogendra ji.
Aam
And that
Aadmi
can be,
Party-
some
Would
will
have
say
been
that
passed.
can be a recipe
Rajdeep,
for
the
chaos.
Swaraj bill
No,
would have
just a
been
minute.
passed.
Some could say that will be a recipe for chaos if all decisions are taken by Mohalla Sabhas and not by my
Why
elected
did they
MLA or
promise
not by
that?
the minister.
That is what Arvind Kejriwal's book of 2012 exactly said. If it is a recipe for chaos, I think honesty demands that he should come out and say that what he had suggested was a recipe for chaos. Number two, the Aam Aadmi
Rajdeep
Party
has said
government
that.
had said
I shall
that,
contest that.
yeah, Aam Aadmi Party had said that in its 49 days of government, they had the Swaraj bill almost ready. It was about to be placed in the assembly.
Yes.
So if it's been ready for more than a year, why, and if it's number 2 promise of your manifesto, what is it doing right now? And what I've heard is now a plan that they're actually not even planning to bring that bill. and which is being replaced by this idea of 11 constituencies where I will let you decide whatever I think you should be deciding. That's not Swaraj. And if you wanted to hold Mohalla Sabhas on odd and even, I think it's only fair that you hold Mohalla Sabhas on the salaries of MLAs.
So you are saying
hold
from
Mohalla
Swaraj
Sabhas
you've
on-
gone to the high command culture. That's what you're hinting at. You moved from Swaraj
I'm
to a
not
high
hinting
command.
at, I'm actually saying
You are
this.
saying that. You have moved from a Swaraj to a high command political culture. I'm
That
sure
is the
Atishay
real
will
betrayal.
contest that.
Other small things of governance.
So
we
that's
shouldn't
the
be
real
held.
betrayal.
These
The
are
real betrayal, according to you, is the Swaraj model has been replaced by the high command political culture model, that these two parties
And
have
the very-
specialized over 6
And the
decades.
idea of ethics has been dropped. And the very fact that Congress people can now sit here and talk about a toothless Lokpal, that I think is the biggest tragedy of the last 1 year of Aam Aadmi Party
We
government.
got a consensus on Lokpal, Yogi
You are not at
Bhayaji.
fault. No,
And
I'm
we
not
would-
blaming
yeah,
you.
And we got it passed in the parliament. And you would
I'm-
agree with me on the
I'm
point
I'm blaming-
that if public referendum
Ragini.
was to be taken, it should have been first of all taken on the Jan Lokpal. But rather the
Let me-
government brought it
Ragini.
on the sly.
Ragini,
let
I'm
me-
not-
hold on.
I'm
Hold
not
on,
blaming
we-
both of you.
document.
I'm blaming them to have given a space to people, parties like you, to be able to speak on these
than,
topics.
more
hold
than
on.
they
Congress
could
coming
chew.
out
I will-
And
saying of a
that's-
minister.
And,
I
and
will-
it is
I
our
will-
responsibility to show them the mirror right
Okay,
now.
I will take a break and then raise the question. Whether
I think
the
everything-
controversies which have been created over the last 1 year, as I started my program, perhaps no other government has found itself hurtling from one controversy to another as the Aam Aadmi Party government has. Is this because there has been the tussle between centre and state? Is the Narendra Modi government not allowing the Arvind Kejriwal government to function? Or is Mr. Kejriwal the kind of politician who revels in controversy? Welcome back once again to the Big Delhi Verdict. This poll on India Today, done by GFK Mode, where 1,000 people in Delhi have been polled on the completion of 1 year of the Kejriwal government, and we've been asking them for their responses. Let's take a look at the next question that we asked in our poll. What do you think about the Aam Aadmi Party's governance? Quality of government services has improved, said 44%. No change in administration, 47%. Quality of services declined, said 9%. So it almost seems as the people believe no dramatic opinion, equally divided there. Is the central government not allowing Aam Aadmi Party to perform? Agree said 54%. The majority said central government not allowing AAP to perform. Disagree said 45%. Can't say said 1%. Are constant tussles between Kejriwal and centre bringing development to standstill in Delhi? Agree said 64%. Disagree said 26%. Somewhat agree said 10%. And then we asked, does Kejriwal create controversies to hide failures? Agree said a majority, 51%. Disagree said 43%. Can't say said 6%. Mr. Sood, respond to that. The fact is, this survey at least seems to suggest, and that is again a perception, Narendra Modi's government at the centre is not allowing AAP to perform, that there is this constant tussle between the LG and the Kejriwal government.
No, this survey is not predicting this.
Survey
there is
says
a contradiction. There is a contradiction in two
64%
questions of yours.
64%
54% says
constant tussle between Kejriwal and centre is bringing development to a standstill. 54% are saying central government is not allowing AAP to perform.
Look,
are you allowing AAP to perform, yes or no?
yeah, in a federal system, the system works by the way of constitution. There is no constitutional breakdown at the end of the center. The center has given all the freedom for them to work. When they released this 70-point agenda, they very well knew. Just let me complete. Let me complete.
Let's be very clear.
They very well knew that this is a union territory.
Sir, let's
they
be
very well
clear.
knew.
Tell me one
So
thing.
you are saying that they have now got a reality check of what
Yes,
a union territory
and now
is about.
when they are,
No,
why
I'll tell you-
people are saying that Kejriwal creates controversies to hide his inefficiencies. Why people are saying that? Because despite their spending 526 crore rupees on their publicity and creating their perception, people of Delhi, the people of Delhi have understood that they are failing to deliver.
So
because ultimate delivery is at the doorstep. When their MLAs are not able to
tell me one
deliver,
thing, sir.
when 57% of Delhiites Ultimate delivery is at the doorstep. No central government. They talked about
Okay,
the decentralization of power.
But I have a question. I have a question to ask.
Yes.
You say that Delhi is a union territory.
Yeah.
Does that mean that the central government will not give us land for schools? Does that mean that the DDA controlled central government will refuse to give land for bus
Does that
depots?
mean
Does that mean that the
Let
DDA
one by
controlled
one.
that the central government controlled DDA will stop giving land for hospitals? It's absolutely amply clear that
is.
the central government is
Yes,
deliberately
this is the
creating
Kejriwal
disruptions.
style of politics.
Number
Does
one,
that
listen,
mean
sir,
if it
tell
is
me
a
one
union
thing.
government and in the government of adverse
does a citizens charter
ideology
bill
is there?
need to be
Does
held
that mean
on
that
and
you will
sat on
ask
by
land
the
on
Home
the
Ministry for 3 months?
through
Does it mean
television?
I have a
Mean you
question.
ask land to buy television?
one by
Does
one.
that mean
Mr.
you ask full statehood on televisions?
Does transparency in the accounts of private schools? Why is the central government
What
not
central government has done? It is the court which has given a decision.
No, sir. Central government is sitting on the legislation for the past 2 months.
It is the court which has given an adverse decision to your decision. What you are trying to implement.
One by one.
There is a legislation
saying that 14 legislations are pending.
No.
Just a minute. I will
Just-
not
There is a legislation sitting- Yes.
Atishi, 1 minute. I just want to understand this, and I'm going now by the survey numbers. The survey clearly shows, yes, at one level, people agree that or majority agree that the central government may not be allowing AAP to perform to an optimal level. That the tussle between AAP and the centre is bringing development to a standstill. But they are also saying that Kejriwal could be creating controversies to hide failure. So there's a question of style also, and there's a question of substance. Possibly you could argue on some substantive issues, the centre has not given you the kind of leeway that maybe the Congress government, when it was at the centre, gave the Sheila Dikshit government in Delhi. However, can you deny the fact that at times some of these controversies have been created? Yogendra ji mentioned earlier about how many bureaucrats, for example, have been publicly, in a sense, targeted and humiliated. Now, is that something which leads to efficient governance? Is that something that you can blame the central government for? If a bureaucrat, for example, is locked in his room, or if a bureaucrat is transferred overnight, all this leads to a sense of a lack of governance. Would you concede that maybe you too need to look inwards rather than only blaming people outside?
I think, Rajdeep, when you use that word leeway, it's quite an understatement. I think let's be very clear that the central government has been nothing short of disruptive.
Hostile. I will even say, chalo, hostile. I'm ready to concede that, but I'm asking you the question on whether your leader also, in a sense, his style also encourages that.
In fact, even in the public survey, I would like to know, had anyone even heard of the name of the previous LG? Did anyone even know the previous police commissioner? The fact is that there has been nothing short of a conspiracy by the centre, in which the DDA, in which the MCD, in which the LG, the Delhi police have all been used by the central government to try and disrupt the functioning of the Delhi government. Why is it that you refuse to provide land for schools? Why is it that you would refuse to provide land for DTC bus stations? These are things that are in the interest of the people of Delhi. And the central government is refusing.
Have you allowed a situation to be created where confrontation is inbuilt into the system? Where you are confronting bureaucrats, confronting LG, confronting the Prime Minister?
Yes, tell me one thing, Rajdeep. We were elected to work in the interest of the people of Delhi. If the central government is not letting us do it, do we sit quietly, or do we raise our voice against blatant injustice being done by the central government?
Where are those
we will have to raise that voice.
Does that mean that you call the Prime Minister a psychopath? Does that mean that you, in a sense, target bureaucrats?
Where are those denials? Why are they not in public domain? Where the schools have been denied land? Why are they not in public domain? These are blatant lies.
Have we been targeting bureaucrats, or has the central government been targeting bureaucrats? Why is it that our bureaucrat after bureaucrat is being transferred out of Delhi?
You're saying, for example, the Anti-Corruption Bureau should have been given to you.
The Anti-Corruption Bureau should have been given to us. As soon as our VAT collection started rising, the VAT Commissioner was transferred out. As soon as our school started improving, the Director of Education was transferred out. There have been FIRs filed against 2 of our senior-most bureaucrats. What is this but a witch hunt by the central government?
Let Yogendra ji respond. Set off this entire debate on governance.
There are 3 simple truths about it, and interestingly, the public knows it. The first truth is the BJP has been obstructionist, has posed hurdles to this new government, has used the office of the LG as almost an instrument not only of the central government, but unfortunately the ruling party. That's truth number 1. Truth number 2, Aam Aadmi Party government loves it, invites it, wants more of it, and wants it to hide everything else that they have not been able to do.
You're making an interesting point. You're saying the Aam Aadmi Party revels in this confrontational.
Rajdeep, I'm not saying anything new. As a news person, you would know
Yes.
this happens every day.
And the third?
And the third truth is that the public of Delhi is a victim to this kho-kho that's being played by both of them.
It's Kho-Kho or Kabaddi. Kabaddi, this is the season of Kabaddi.
Kho-kho.
You're calling it Kho-Kho because this is the season of 1 minute. 1 minute.
Can I just very briefly-
And the interesting thing is public knows all these three
Public
things.
knows all these things. Yes, quick point, Ragini, and then I want to come to another point in my
Rajdeep, you
survey.
also know that it takes two to tango. I would say that the promise of Mr. Modi that he is going to institutionalize cooperative federalism stands exposed on the one hand, and on the other hand, I would say that the public is speaking, but the public is saying that the governance deficit is being kind of shrouded by all these controversies.
I'll ask
and
you
that
this.
is why Kejriwal always wants to get at loggerheads with the LG, with the Delhi police, with the bureaucracy, and a simultaneous politicization of police and bureaucracy is also happening, which is putting the people of Delhi at the receiving end.
Our survey also asked the state of law and order under the Aam Aadmi Party government in the last 1 year. 37% said it has improved, deteriorated said 27%, remained the same 36%. No great marks to the Aam Aadmi Party on the law and order. But when we asked should Delhi police report to the Delhi government, yes said 43, no said 48, can't say said 9. So that's divided. Now remember earlier we had pointed out that one of the failures is being seen as women's security. And I want to get this straight. Should the Delhi police be handed over to the Aam Aadmi Party government, or is the fear the moment it is handed over to the Aam Aadmi Party government, you will arrest some central ministers? I think that's the fear. Should the ACB be handed over to them or not? Should the Anti-Corruption Bureau be handed over to them or not?
Look, the way they are governing this city,
Yes.
the city is almost in a state of zero governance. So they may be asking, one day they start asking for DDA, now they may start asking for Delhi police.
As
But
were you,
where is the
sir.
governance?
Let me point that out.
Just listen to
that
me.
both in your Delhi manifesto and
Just
in your
listen to
national
me.
manifesto.
That is true. They
your
also
I'll tell
party
you,
is
I'll read you a
not
manifesto.
restricted.
I wanted to ask this question. I'll read a manifesto of Mr. Kejriwal and one line. This lays, बैरिकेड ना होने से समस्या पैदा करती है। दिल्ली पुलिस दिल्ली सरकार के अधीन नहीं है, पर लोगों द्वारा चुनी गई हमारी सरकार इसे बहाने के रूप में इस्तेमाल नहीं करेगी। यह मैनिफेस्टो केजरीवाल साहब ने जारी किया है। नाउ टुडे every now and then they are taking this as an excuse.
Are you saying the Delhi police should not be with Delhi government? Are you saying that on the record? But BJP,
yes,
BJP who has always fought for still full
First of all, before asking this question,
on record,
you should come out. Yes, I'll put my.
You're saying the Delhi government should not be answerable.
Yes, quickly, quick short reply.
If you are talking about this, where is the resolution, official resolution to the central government about the statehood?
Sir, do you
where is
agree?
it?
Okay, one minute.
These all these things
Mr. Sood,
need.
Mr.
Yes,
Sood,
these things will not be done in the media domain. These have to be done constitutionally. You have to have, because you know you are not able to perform. You want.
Do you agree that Delhi police should be answerable to the Delhi
non-performing
government?
government which does not know the ABC of governance, that should not be given.
Okay,
Rajdeep,
just a minute.
Rajdeep.
No, Ragini ji, what is interesting, look at how the world has changed. When Sheila Dikshit was chief minister, I remember she would always say, let the Delhi police must hand it over to the Delhi government because that will give me control over women's security, over law and order. When the BJP was trying to come to power in Delhi, they said Delhi must get full statehood. Now things are being reversed. Now you are saying Kejriwal doesn't deserve statehood because he doesn't know the
No, he
ABC
has
of
not
governance.
asked for statehood.
One
Where
minute.
are the resolutions?
One minute.
With
Statehood is asked in media domain.
Sood sir, 1 minute. So my question is that, you said Kejriwal was the Dharna party. Now I've seen in the last 1 year, maximum dharnas are staged by Congress and BJP in Delhi outside the Aam Aadmi Party office.
1 minute. As I said,
Kejriwal on the other hand said Narendra Modi uses media. He has a 526 crore budget for media. So the ironies are coming out stark to me. How things have changed. You are in the opposition, they are in government. In 1 year, everything has changed. Yes, but you wanted to make a point. Ragini.
Once again, the point which I made has to be reiterated.
Yes.
This course of confrontation is being deliberately pursued by Mr. Arvind Kejriwal to actually hide all the failures and governance deficit. How? Okay, so the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party are not on the same page with respect to the Delhi police. Who is going to take control of the Delhi police? But what are the other measures that you have taken? You don't have a woman in your cabinet, woman minister. You don't have a woman member in your political affairs committee.
But they claim the State Women's Commission is doing a very good job. That's what they claim.
State Commission. I mean, I'm talking about their own party. How they? What kind of women empowerment are you talking about? You shelved 181 helpline, which was started by the Congress party. You shelved all the gender resource centers. You shelved the Awaz Uthao Abhiyan that was started. And also, with respect to the promises that you had made in the manifesto, where is the Suraksha Button app? Where are the constables and the home guards? Where are the CCTV?
1 minute.
I mean, even if Delhi police is with you, there are other measures that the government has to take so as to ensure safety, security and empowerment and emancipation of women. But you could only talk about and highlight the points on which you don't have control.
Ragini, I'm going to end this segment with Yogendra ji. Whenever it gets noisy, I turn to you for a voice of reason. The fact is that you said, and has been repeated across this table, that Mr. Kejriwal creates controversies or creates confrontation because it suits him. Do you believe really that in the long run this benefits the Aam Aadmi Party? Is there a constituency out there which actually believes, as Atishi says, that there is a conspiracy against the Kejriwal government? There are majorities also saying that. So it's an ironical situation. Yes, they say that Kejriwal ji may be creating controversies to hide his failures, but they also say that there is a conscious attempt by the centre to target his government. So what does Mr. Kejriwal then do? Who does he turn to?
Rajiv, we are looking at multiple hypocrisies here. There's of course a complete hypocrisy on the part of BJP today to say they don't want Delhi police under central government. For the last 20 years they've been demanding it in every single manifesto. Now suddenly, I mean, do you look at the face of the Chief Minister and then decide what the Constitution of India should be like? There's a complete hypocrisy on the part of the Chief Minister who till yesterday used to say Sheila Dikshit is using this bahana, I will not use this bahana, and now every day you use it. So, I mean, there's multiple hypocrisy that we are looking at. This kind of a thing pays in the short term. The Prime Minister is a big gainer of these kind of little drama theatre politics. In the long run, I don't think it works very well. And in democracy, you have to trust in the long run. But in the short run, yes, I see Mr. Modi benefiting from these kind of games, these concocted media games. And I suspect Arvind Kejriwal uses a lot of same kind of trick. I mean, they're very similar kind of persons.
I don't know whether we ever want to go down that route, but some would say, I wrote about this the other day, that Arvind Kejriwal and Narendra Modi may be more similar than you can imagine, at least when it comes to the style in some aspects. I know Atishi will deny that, some aspects of the style of their politics. Let's take a break. Both in a sense portray themselves at times as victims of conspiracies around them. Let's take a break, which is where I will then look at, is Arvind Kejriwal actually ready to be a national leader? Can he go beyond Delhi? All talk of him now marching into Punjab. And is he really an opponent for Narendra Modi in 2019? Answers to those questions. Welcome back to the Big Delhi Verdict, where 1 year of the Kejriwal government has led us to bring an India Today poll done by GFK Mode, which is looking back at this 1 year. The next big question: should Arvind Kejriwal focus attention only on Delhi, or should he move to national politics? And this is what our survey says. 79% Delhiites said he should stay here and focus on Delhi. Only 17% felt he should move to national politics. Should Aam Aadmi Party project Kejriwal as the Punjab Chief Minister candidate? 25% said yes. 71 said no, can't say said 4. Atishay Marlena, is Mr. Kejriwal going to spend the next year in Delhi, or is he now so obsessed with the idea of coming to power in Punjab that Delhi will be forgotten?
I think it's very clear, just as the people of Delhi, I don't think either Aam Aadmi Party also plans to project Arvind Kejriwal as the chief ministerial candidate in Punjab. But the fact of the matter is that the people of Punjab want Aam Aadmi Party as an alternative. The people of Punjab have really come behind the Aam Aadmi Party.
No, but if it's a one-man show, is he going to end up spending more time campaigning in Punjab? Ultimately, he is your high command.
Arvind Kejriwal is the chief minister of Delhi. Delhi is his prime responsibility, and he is going to stay in Delhi and focus on the governance of Delhi. But yes, our organization in Punjab is gearing up for elections there. But number 3 does not mean our contesting elections in Punjab does not mean that we are swinging into national politics and we are going to contest elections in all states. We are going to contest elections in states where we feel that we are a viable alternative, where we feel that issues are so acute that people are looking for a choice.
Because a year ago, Mr. Kejriwal had made it very clear his entire focus was going to be on Delhi. Now I get
And
the
it
sense...
continues to be.
It continues to be, you're saying. Do you believe that he's a national leader? Do you believe that he's a challenge in a sense to the Rahul Gandhis or Narendra Modis? Or are you convinced now that that is not possible in the next 4 years?
Let him prove his mettle in Delhi, then we'll discuss that question 4 years down the line. But
Yes.
it cannot just be a coincidence that the Chief Minister of Delhi has not taken even a single portfolio. He wants to spend more time outside Delhi. He has national aspirations. We saw the way he moved to Banaras, abandoning Delhi. He had to come back, apologize to the people. The people of Delhi pardoned him, gave him another chance. And this is the time when he has to stay here, fulfill the promises, deliver all that he had promised.
Before he can claim to be a genuine national leader. Yes.
And a small
Do you
group,
see
if
him
they
at all? Do you see him at all as a threat nationally?
If they were so viable a alternative, why are they not contesting the only by-election in Punjab?
Mr. Sood, let's be clear. Most polls, most private surveys so far are showing Aam Aadmi Party is doing very well in Punjab if elections are held today.
Then
do you see them as a fear? Do you see Mr. Kejriwal expanding beyond Delhi and becoming a national threat to you or not?
In democracy, every party has a right to expand its wing. They did it. They tried it in the Lok Sabha elections. They came back, as Ragini was saying. They asked
67 seats in Delhi.
Yeah, but even then, where you are considering yourself to be a viable alternative, you have not contested, you have not dared to contest the by-election in Punjab.
So you're saying that, okay, 1 minute. Yogendra ji, is there a sense you get that Arvind Kejriwal has now reached that stage already that he can once again harbor ambitions beyond Delhi, or do you believe he would be wiser? Now I'm asking you to play the role of what you were originally supposed to do. Some kind of a friend, philosopher, guide to the Aam Aadmi Party. Would he be wiser in sticking on to Delhi, focusing and giving us a Delhi model of governance that works, rather than looking at ambitions beyond Delhi?
Rajit, number one, there's nothing wrong with ambitions in politics. I really want a country in which you have 1,000 people, 1,000 good, competent people who want to be Prime Minister of this country. That would be a lovely country to live in. So let's stop using the word ambition in a negative sense. Sometimes it's a bit of a problem, like our Prime Minister, who's constantly, we're not sure whether he wants to be General Secretary of UN or he wants to be Prime Minister of India. So you have similar confusion sometimes about Arvind Kejriwal.
That's a bit under the, you're hitting him below the belt.
No, but I'm saying, you get occasionally that impression about Arvind Kejriwal, but that's not, I mean, why should a politician not wish to be the Prime Minister of this country? I really have not understood why that can be held against anyone. The real question is, which road do you take to power and ambition? Is the road principally a road of theatre, publicity, 526 crore rupees of budget, advertisements all over the country, or is it a road of giving a model to the country which the rest of the country wants to emulate? If
an urban model of governance, or just a political model of governance?
One model to begin with, which can be changed. So if 4 years down the line, the country says, oh wow, we really want to be like Delhi, then why should the person who's given Delhi such a great governance be not the Prime Minister of this country? And if the country says, oh my God, not like Delhi, then you have the answer. That's what we are contesting right now. To my mind, let us not, I mean, about Punjab. Yes, of course, Punjab is desperately looking for an alternative. I've never seen a government which is so hated as the Akali BJP government right now. It's not clear whether they are looking only for Aam Aadmi Party as an alternative, which is constantly importing politicians from Congress and Akalis and BJP. I think there is a serious danger in all this talk, Rajdeep, and I just wanted to end with that. You know, we, in our discussions on politics and analysis, I think over the last few years, we have started confusing success with goodness. Everything that succeeds must be good. That doesn't happen. Mr. Modi used that language very often, and I see Aam Aadmi Party also using that language.
Success meaning electoral success. You confuse electoral success with being that the people of the country believe that you have followed the right model of governance.
success with electoral success with democratic approval and democratic approval with ethics. These are three different things. You must keep that separate.
Model of governance as well.
Okay, let's leave it there. Interesting that the Congress is also now talking.
Yes, I'm saying
Interesting that the Congress is now talking about ethical model of governance. Okay, but good. Maybe everyone is learning its lesson. Maybe we are all learning our lesson. Maybe Arvind Kejriwal also needs to step back a bit. Is he still a man in a hurry? Is a question that will be asked. Or is he simply someone who's willing to play for the long run? The fact is only year one is over. And there are 5 years that the people of Delhi have elected him for. Clearly year two could well be different to year one. We'll wait and see whether Mr. Kejriwal is able to deliver on his promises or not. But that's the verdict that Delhi has delivered at the end of year one in our poll today. Thank you very much for joining us. Kejriwal remains Neta number one of Delhi, but he's also been put on notice. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
General Dalbir Singh has condoled the passing away of Braveheart Lance Naik Hanumantappa, saying that the soldier in him will continue to inspire generations.
Now, Mr. Rijiju, we are looking at a lot of awards wapsi that's happening just now. Started with the writers, went on to academics, historians, scientists.